Now I want to talk about how Kate and Tully fit together almost perfectly, actually. So, with codependence, where you have someone that is a compulsive giver like Kate, you're going to have someone that is a taker like Tully, someone that gives their own space for you to shine all the time, and then someone that is very happy to always be in the spotlight. And I know when you hear compulsive giver and the kind of words I'm using, you can easily think that, okay, this is the better of the two, right? But if you've listened to the first section where I spoke about Kate's codependency and how unhealthy that is, you can easily tell that this is not a healthy dynamic. It's actually quite toxic for the both of them. It's unhealthy, and I want you to understand, if you have seen this, you've heard me describe Kate, you've heard me describe Tully, I'd like you to just reflect, and you can probably type in the comment section if you think you're a Kate or you're a Tully, or if you know someone that is. And if you know someone that is, go ahead and share this video with them, spread the enlightenment, and let's see if we can get them on the healing journey, okay? So if you found out that you're a Kate or you're a Tully, don't give up, alright? Listen to the rest of this video and I will circle right back to you. Alright, so some of the ways that codependency was seen here, other than the fact that they were so enmeshed in each other's lives, right? They were always making this kind of decisions together, like the both of them were living this one life. So it's supposed to be Kate has her own life and Tully has her own life, and they're doing their own things, living their dreams, fulfilling their full potentials, and then, they work together, maybe synergistically, not that they take two of their lives and merge into one person. This is not even a healthy thing for a married couple to do, okay? You're still supposed to have your own identity, have your own dreams, your own visions, and then have the one you two do together. So your separate lives don't end, and then it only becomes and only our dreams. Because at any time, what if you get a divorce? So does it mean your identity is lost completely, which is something Kate now has to deal with, because she is coming out of this marriage as well, and it's like, oops, nothing. I've not done anything for my own personal life. In the almost 2 decades long, it was like my own life was on pause, and now I have nothing. Some people, it can drive them mad. Some people can actually commit suicide because of this revelation. So it's actually really serious, okay? So with the two of them and the way they live their lives together, some of the places you could see this codependency, I just want to mention some specific instances, was, for example, when Kate found out she was pregnant, her daughter Mara, and even then, you could see that Johnny was not really finding it funny how Tully kept on butting in. They could barely have an alone time together, and I think other than Johnny not really being able to see Kate and having that probably contribute to them getting a divorce, I think Kate's not being able to establish clear boundaries with Tully contributed to that. It felt like he was dating the two of them. And oftentimes, even when they would be working together, him and Tully, I could almost always see that chemistry there, like him wishing, because he liked her too when they were much younger. He wanted to date her, and they had sex once, right? And now they're working so closely together. I could often almost feel like he still probably imagines what his life would have been like if he and her had been together, or if he secretly wants to be with her. I keep wondering. But in codependency relationships, one thing that's certain is an absence of boundaries. There are no clear boundaries. You don't know where this person starts and you don't know where this person ends. And it's like that with Tully and Kate. And when she was pregnant, Tolly would come around to their homes at odd hours. She bought a pet for them without informing them, claimed it was a surprise, and left this pet with them. As you know, having a pet is almost as equal to having a child. That's a responsibility. Neither of these people were prepared for. Granted, the pet grew on them, and when the dog died, it was really painful, as we could see much later in the years. But still, that decision was out of line. You could also see Tolly trying to get birth control pills behind Kate's back for her daughter, and that was also another boundary. And Kate was really angry when she found out. In fact, she didn't speak to Tolly for a while, and I think it was a whole day, and Tolly was just losing her mind, going crazy and trying to call her compulsively, obsessively, sending her flowers at her office, just all of this in one day. So that really goes to show you the level of attachment that they had, very insecure attachment, by the way, to each other. So Tolly doesn't know the line where she stops and says, okay, this is probably where I cannot step in. This is something a parent has to do. I can't do this for you. It's not really clear to her. Also, when Kate was pregnant, Tolly was just compulsively, obsessively involved with the whole baby preparations in the hospital. And I was like, it's obvious that Tolly cannot see that this is not her baby, this is not her family. Yeah, she'll be a part of it and everything, but that is not really her baby. She's having this weird attachment to this whole baby coming that was kind of weird. And I could understand her fears of abandonment was making her act compulsively like that. So she was trying to overcompensate. She's thinking, oh, this baby is going to come and this baby is going to change things, so I need to be around more, and maybe they won't forget me because I'm around more. And then you just annoy the people by suffocating them with too much of your attention, right? So another specific example was when Kate told Tolly when they were in college that she's going for a year abroad in a European country or something, and Tolly was so upset. She's like, and Kate was like, yes, you choose all our courses, you choose the classes we go to, I just want to do my own thing. I think those are one of the early moments, starting to have this realization that it doesn't seem like I have my own life. It doesn't feel like I'm living my own life. It feels like we're living Tolly's life, and I just need my own space to just figure out my own thing. But because of how codependent attachments are, even when people have their realization, they still find themselves coming back to the thing again. So it's not surprising that after she goes abroad and comes back, she and Tolly are back together like they never left each other, and the dynamic just ensues. Argument that they had really got to Tolly. She was really upset. She's like, I don't need you. You think I need you? You think this is going to hurt me? She was making those statements in anger, and you are hearing it, and you can automatically register in your mind that she means the opposite of those things. In her mind, what she actually is saying is, oh my God, I'm losing the only person that cares about me. My whole life is going to fall apart. I am so scared. I'm so afraid. I'm being abandoned again. So those are the ways. Also, when they would have Thanksgiving, so because her family, Tolly's family, understood the dynamic that was going on in Tolly's life, she was basically like an orphan. Her mother is not present. They had this feeling and compassion towards her, and it kind of happens. You see it happen in families where they're taking someone that is maybe adopted or maybe a foster child, and then it seems like they shower the foster child with a lot more attention than they show their own children, because they feel like, oh, this child doesn't have any love, they haven't had love in their life, we need to do so much more. And then the main children start to feel neglected or ignored because of that. So you could see something like that playing out, where they went for Thanksgiving at Kate's house, and Kate keeps asking for them to pass her the bowl of potatoes so she could take some, and she repeats it. I could swear it was probably up to 10 times, and they were just all engrossed in a conversation they were having with Holly. She gets angry, picks up the potatoes, skips some of her plates, storms and leaves the dining table, and that was what triggered her to have a conversation about her going for a year abroad, because it was probably starting to really become even more obvious and telling that nobody is seeing her, not even her own family, ever since this dynamic and codependency thing had started with Tully. She has become invisible to even her own family. Of course, in situations like this, while Kate is stuck with being a parent, and when you're your parent, you're not your child's friend, okay? You guys can have a good relationship, but not being their friend means you have to hold them accountable. You have to have boundaries. You have to have rules. Those are the things that make you a parent. And boundaries and rules are good because they make your child feel loved. Children know they're loved when there are boundaries. They know that this is a line I won't cross, and they know that my parents have them in place to protect me. That's the difference between being the cool auntie that Tully likes to play to her child versus being the actual parent, right? So it's not surprising that Kate's daughter probably enjoys spending time with Tully, sees her as a cool aunt so she can have conversations about boys with that she can't have with her own mom. And obviously Kate, being the mom, feels maybe a tad bit jealous, because that's something she would have loved to have with her own child. She has to deal with paying her tuition, taking care of her, feeding her, being the bad guy when she grounds her for breaking the rules, while Tully gets to sweep in and just be the cool aunt and just enjoy just all the love, right? I appreciate how she told her daughter that it was okay that she missed Aunt Tully when she told Tully that she was out of line for trying to order prescription birth control for her own daughter, and without her consent. And she was so angry, and her daughter was like, but I miss her. And she said, it's okay for you to miss her. And I really appreciated that. So I just felt like, okay, so you still recognize some boundaries here. Okay, there's hope. It's not too bad with her child. She still gives her daughter some space. She's not overly involved in her daughter's life. I like that. And then she didn't impose that, okay, because I'm mad at Tully, you have to be mad as well. I like how she creates that boundary that you're entitled to your feelings. I'm mad at Aunt Tully, but you don't have to be. It's okay that you miss her. And that's really great. If you're a parent and you're watching this, it's really important for you to keep that in mind. You shouldn't project your own feelings onto your children and expect them to take them on as theirs. They're different people from you, and so they're allowed to have their own thoughts and their own feelings about a person or a situation, right? Probably several other points I could pick up to demonstrate a codependency attachment, but these few will do for now. All in all, just know that codependency is a form of unhealthy attachment that is developed as a coping strategy. Human beings, we are built to survive, okay? We are built to survive horrible, traumatic, tragic situations. It is the only way that we are able to keep on living, okay? So sometimes these adaptations might be unhealthy, and the body is not really concerned about which adaptation is healthy or not. This I will get into when I talk about addictions, and I have touched on some addictions. If you have seen my video on my analysis of Gambit, I will leave the link below. I talk about addictions and how people cope with that and some of the mechanics of that. But essentially, your body doesn't care. Your brain, your mind, it doesn't care about what is healthy or unhealthy. All it cares about is keeping you alive. That's it. So you're in pain. Your body wants the pain to stop. So sometimes it can create numbness where you become emotionally numb so you don't feel anything so that you can survive. Other times you find yourself becoming detached, you have walls up so that you can survive, and sometimes in some cases you develop unhealthy attachment styles where you are distant like Tully. You keep people at arm's length, you push away affection. When things get too real, you run away because you don't feel like you deserve love, because you will get hurt and your mind doesn't want you to get hurt, so it does all those things, and it happens unconsciously so you're not aware. Or you're like Kate, where you do the opposite. You compensate, you overcompensate for not feeling like you're enough by shrinking yourself, feeling the need to do too much to earn the love from other people. Something happened when these two girls were growing up. Between Kate feeling like she couldn't be seen and Tully stepped in, and suddenly, when people would try to bully her, of course, Tully was like the comeback queen. She always had words on her fingers that would just go. Whereas before, Kate would just be quiet or retreat into the shadows when she got bullied or teased by her classmates. Then it felt like she had a companion that she could go at life at, regardless of what life threw at them. She felt more secure, she felt stronger in this relationship with Tully. Even when the girls were so mean to her and she got so angry because of the things they were saying about Tully that she punched one in the nose, straight up nose dive, and she was bleeding. And I thought it was interesting because these girls had been mean to her for a long time and she never reacted that way, but they are mean to someone else and then she has a reaction. I also noticed that despite all the things that people had done to Tully in school, she never got into a fist fight with anyone. She had this way of just taking things up on her chin up, or having good comebacks with her words, and she just dusted things right off, probably because she had to do a lot of dusting at home with her mom, so she had gotten used to dusting off haters and dusting off attacks and belittling comments from people, and that's the difference between her and Kate. Kate's, the first time she has a reaction, it's an overreaction because she never really reacts to anything. And those are the people I often say people should watch out for. The people that are always quiet, the people that never say anything, because the day that they do, it's like a time bomb. Everything would just go off and explode. There would be so much rage and so much emotion associated. It would be coming from all the hurts that they suppressed. So there's a lot of suppression going on with Kate. She suppresses a lot of things and they tend to come out in those ways. They adapted to form this codependent dynamic because it was the only way they could survive. Okay? Tully, I have already described Kate feeling like she was weak and she needed someone strong. And for Tully felt like she had no love and no one that cared about her. And Kate was supposed to be the human that would love her no matter what happened. She knew this is someone that would always love me and would always be in my corner. What I couldn't understand though is, I can understand, but you would think, okay, I'm able to develop this type of attachment with Kate. I should know I'd be able to develop it with someone else, but I guess Kate is from a long time ago, from her childhood. So Kate has already seen the ugly and knows everything. Every other person that's meeting Tully now in this packaged form of what she thinks will be accepting to whoever is seeing her as this perfect person, beautiful, career, everything. They don't know the dark sides. She even hid the story of her mom, told people her mother died when she was young, only for a story to come out that her mother was actually alive and she's not in communication with her and she works at a cheap diner or something. That fear of letting people in And then the one person she let in, she held on to like her life depends on it, like so tightly, in this very unhealthy way. So she is holding on to Kate so tightly, like if Kate left, she'd probably die, like she would fall apart or something. So if you're hearing this and you've made it this far, right, I told you I was going to come back to you. You've made it this far and you find out that you're probably in a romantic relationship with your partner and you both have a codependent attachment. You have a best friend and you have a codependent attachment, or you have codependent attachments to family members. Don't go and jump off a cliff yet, okay? I always say awareness is the first thing, and that's why I make videos like this, because I am hoping that when you see yourself in this, because people can find it hard to see themselves. It's very hard to raise the mirror and look at yourself. So sometimes the only way we can see ourselves is when we see ourselves in others. And that's why I bring shows like this to you. I bring analysis like this. That's why my channel is here. Awareness is the first step. Now that you know, you are empowered. Knowledge that can change the course of your life from today. You can start some inner child work. You can start working with a life coach. I myself am a life coach. Or you can start working with a therapist. If you realize that you do have trauma experiences, most of us do. Okay, there is no 100% perfectly healed, perfectly raised human being that did not have even one trauma from their childhood. Okay, many of us, our parents messed us up one way or the other, or some tragic incidents happened, or it doesn't even have to be as big as somebody else might think, but it still scarred you in one way or the other. Don't be afraid to talk to someone. Don't be afraid to probably get a coach that can help you take the steps you need to change your life. And don't be afraid to talk to a trauma specialist if you need to. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm making videos like this, so that you can uncover some of these mysteries, some of these things that our unconscious drives us to, that we don't understand, and we can retrace our footsteps and we can make the future better. Alright, so that's really all I have for you. Sorry it was really long. I had to break it into 2 parts. First part, of course, I talked about the Kate Malarkey character, and then I talked about Tully Hart. I talked about their different unhealthy patterns, and then in the second part of the video I talked about the codependency structure and how it works in their dynamic. And I have to say again, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, drop me a comment on your thoughts. Also, I am collecting recommendations. If there is a movie you think the audience and the community can benefit from an analysis, please drop it in this comment section below. Of course, share this video with a loved one. You never know who you could be helping. Add it to a playlist if you care. And I'm gonna go now. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Until then, I love you. Bye. Okay, so